Best in Blue.
Connecting you, the listener, to the everyday inner workings of the Memphis Police Department.
Best in Blue on the KUDZUKIAN Network.
Welcome back to another exciting episode of the very Best in Blue right here on the KUDZUKIAN Network. I love this show because we get a chance to talk to the men and women of the Memphis Police Department about what they do every day and how they try to keep us safe and out of harm's way. And you know what? I'm glad for it, and you ought to be glad for it as well. You know, on today's show, we've got the one and only Lieutenant Felipe Boyce, who's the unit commander of the Harbor Patrol. And we're going to talk a lot about what they do, how the Harbor Patrol is made up, the equipment, and what they do to keep us safe and out of harm's way, even while they're serving on the waters, the Mississippi, the Loosahachie, the Wolf River, all that's encompassed with keeping us safe on the waters. And so, you know what? Stick around because we're going to really lay it out for you right here on the Best in Blue on the KUDZUKIAN Network.
Best in Blue. Best in Blue.
That means we go to the schools, we go to the churches, we do all types of programs to try to build the relationship between law enforcement and the community.
Best in Blue on the KUDZUKIAN Network.
KUDZUKIAN. Hey, I'm Lieutenant Felipe Boyce with the Memphis Police Department Harbor Patrol, and you're listening to the Best in Blue powered by the KUDZUKIAN Network.
You're listening to the Best in Blue right here on the KUDZUKIAN Network. I am DC, your host for the program, and today we are blessed to have in our studio the one and only Lieutenant Felipe Boyce of the Memphis Police Department, the Harbor Patrol Unit. Welcome to the Best in Blue. Lieutenant, how are you?
I'm doing fine, thank you.
Man, glad to have you in here. We're going to jump right into this thing. Don't want to belabor the point. Harbor Patrol and the origins of it. A little bit about yourself also. Let's start a little bit about who Lieutenant Felipe Boyce is and how did you get into this space now that we call the Memphis Police Department, first of all, being one of the Best in Blue, and also the unit commander of Harbor Patrol.
Man, long journey. Started 25 years ago. Was in college, kind of in between what I really wanted to do, and kind of had some friends that were on the police department, got started, and here I am. Yeah.
Wow. Some 25 years later, 25
right? 25 years later, correct.
That's not a bad deal, huh? Treated you well?
Treated me well. Paid my bills.
Hey, look, don't like you lose no weight, Doc. So you eating good, right?
I'm eating pretty good.
Eating pretty good. That's right. You serving and protecting. That's what. Let's talk about Harbor Patrol and what that unit is.
Yes.
Give a little bit of history of it. You've got a little bit of history about it and what y'all do out there, actually.
Well, what the Harbor Patrol does, we provide all the security, or I would say, we protect the river, and we have about 50 or 60 miles of waterway that the police department has responsibility for. And the Harbor Patrol unit, right now I currently have 2 full-time officers that are there all the time, and during the summer or the boating season, we have 2 additional temporary officers that are assigned to the unit.
Well, let me ask you this. So you've got 2 officers that are assigned permanently over there.
Yes. And
are they located somewhere close to the water? Are they on the water? Or is it one of those types of units where you make the scene, so to speak?
Well, we're on the at the Mud Island Marina.
Oh,
is where we're stationed.
Well, then, yeah, you are.
Yeah,
You're right there.
We have a boat slip there, and the officers are, and it's located where we can get directly into the water. So we have on-site facilities as well as we do callbacks. So we pretty much provide a 24-hour coverage for that unit.
And you were saying a minute ago that your sphere of influence, or what you cover in terms of the river. Let's talk about that river. Actually, some years ago, about 100 years ago, and I worked for Mud Island. I was a docent, and they told us a little bit about the river and how that first part of the water, right there off of the cobblestones, is really the Wolf River. Slackwater Harbor is what that is. That's not necessarily the Mississippi River, and a lot of people don't know that.
Correct.
So for context, but you guys have that piece right there. Not only that, but also out in the channel as well. So you go from bank to the other part, and kind of give us a little bit of the story of where you serve at.
Correct. We serve from that bank, which is the Mississippi side, the Tennessee side, I would say, like you said, at the channel, and we go back westward towards the Arkansas side. There is a map. If you look on the map, you can see where there's a divide line right down the river between Mississippi and Tennessee and Arkansas.
Wow.
Yeah.
And so over there, you and I were talking a little bit off air a minute ago about the fact that there's a large sandbar there, and half of that sandbar is Arkansas. The other half is Tennessee. Right? So is it Memphis or Shelby County?
That's Shelby County area there.
Okay, I got you.
And the city, of course, city of Memphis owns that piece of it. The other half is the Arkansas side. What's that, Crittenden County side?
Yeah, Crittenden County. That's right. Wow. And so you go down as far as, the Tunica County piece?
To the Tunica County. Yes. South, we go to Tunica County south, and north is Tipton County.
That's a lot of area to cover, man.
About 60 miles.
60 miles. You're listening to the Best in Blue right here on the KUDZUKIAN Network. So when you all have a situation or a call, let's just say you got a call for service, just like out on the streets, right? There's somebody in the water, or there's something that's going on in the water that begs the attention of the police. I'm assuming you get a call, or dispatch gets something to you or to your men. How does that work?
Correct. Normally, when it's called in, say for instance, if it's called in through dispatch, if we're off duty, the dispatcher will call me directly and say, "Hey, we have a stranded boater in the water, or a civilian has gotten in the water." So normally they'll call me if we're not on duty, and we'll have the harbor patrol to come in. Now, we normally work closely with uniformed patrol officers as well as the aviation unit. So normally we try to get the helicopter up first, quicker, so they can kind of maybe spot somebody in the water, and then it gives us a quicker response time on where to respond. Because like you say, it's 60 miles of water, and with that moving current, they may start in one place and end up in another place by the time we get there in 5 or 10 minutes.
So you were saying if you guys are not on duty at the time, so when that happens, you immediately get somebody in. There's a call in to get the next. So not everybody is, I guess you would say, trained to be a harbor patrol officer, right? You got some dedicated people, even dedicated backup people, correct?
Correct. We have 2 full-time, like I said. We have 2 that are part-time. We also have some other officers that are trained that assist us from time to time. Some of our officers in the mounted unit have had experience where they go out with them. So either myself or one of the other, if we're short on people or short-handed, we have other people that can respond as well.
So as a part of some of those qualifications that the Harbor Patrol officers have to have, NASBLA is one of those things. And can you explain to us what NASBLA stands for?
It's the National Association of State Boating Law Administrators.
Okay. All right. So, and that's one of the qualifications other than going through the regular training of a patrolman, right?
That's correct. They also do a course with the U.S. Coast Guard, boating skills course.
And so you have to be an expert swimmer?
Yes, they do have to pass a swimming course that's designed by the Coast Guard, and it's the same qualifications that the U.S. Coast Guard uses.
Wow. So I'm assuming that with the work with the Coast Guard and policing that entire river piece right there that you guys got, there's a lot of opportunity for interaction with the Coast Guard, right?
Yeah, we do a lot of training with multi-agencies. U.S. Coast Guard is just one. We do a lot of work with Homeland Security just because of the recent threats with the bridges. We work with Shelby County. We work with Crittenden County, Tunica County. We work with a lot of different agencies. Well,
now does Shelby County have a harbor patrol or a boating unit as well?
They don't have a unit. They do have boats, and they do have officers that respond.
Oh, I got you.
So they do have a couple of boats, too.
Because there's a lot of water in this area, right? So not only do you all you just do harbor patrol, you don't do like the Loosahachie. So there was
we do.
Oh, wow. I was wondering about that.
Yeah, we do the Loosahachie. We do the Wolf River, McKellar Lake. Any small, sometimes we get calls to like smaller lakes or ponds where somebody's got in. We have a small John boat to get into those areas as well.
Lieutenant, we'll put a pin right there on that point there. I will be right back in just a moment with Best in Blue right here on the KUDZUKIAN Network.
Best in Blue.
Grind Fed.
I'm your host, Cynthia Daniels.
And I'm your co-host, Williams Brack.
So we're going to be interviewing business owners about their journey. What made them leave their 9-to-5 and just go out and create their own brand?
Grind Fed.
We're back with you here on the Best in Blue on the KUDZUKIAN Network, and we are having a conversation with Lieutenant Felipe Boyce of the Harbor Patrol with the Memphis Police Department, one of our very own Best in Blue. A little bit of tidbit out there we want to throw out there. Lieutenant, you're FBI. You went to Quantico for some certification?
Graduate of the National Academy, Class 267.
Class 267. Man, they even gave you a number.
Gave you a number.
Well, I tell you. So when you go around the country, people know Lieutenant Felipe Boyce now, right?
That's right.
Don't mess with it. He's a bad guy. This guy can take care of you right here. But hey, congratulations on that. And we always want to make sure that our citizens know that not only do we get excellent training here in the city of Memphis with our own department, but there's other opportunities out there for you all. And this apparently will help you grow and go if that's what happens, especially grow up, hopefully, in the department.
Oh, definitely. A great resource, great training.
Yeah.
Training that you could.
And you met a lot of other folks around the country, I'm sure, that in case something occurred, hey, look, I can just pick up the phone. I got a guy or lady in Virginia I can talk to, or in South Dakota I can talk to.
I got lifetime friends, man. I got a couple of guys. One is from New Jersey.
Oh, wow.
He's a lieutenant there, and I got another friend that's a major in Florida. Man, great friends. We still talk to this day, and that was last year. So,
wow.
Man, lifetime friends, lifetime memories. Wouldn't change it for the world.
And lifetime training.
That's
Congratulations
true.
on that. Let's talk a little bit about not only how you were equipped, but let's talk about the equipment that you all use while you all are serving in the Harbor Patrol. I'm sure you got some equipment out there that probably a lot of us don't know anything about.
Yeah, we do. I'll start with the smaller stuff and then kind of build up. The military boats are our smaller boats, but they're very unique in that if the water's icy or it's a really small tributary or channel, we can get into it with those type boats. So we normally use those for those type situations. We have a couple of Boston whalers. They're about 27 foot long, and we patrol in those. One of them has a dive deck that's kind of unique.
Oh, wow.
Say if we have to recover someone from the water, it's a lower platform, we can get down and get them out pretty easily. And I would say the most unique piece of equipment that we have, we just purchased, it's a 2018 Moose boat. It has.
Explain that, a moose boat. I know what a moose is, but now apparently that name is stuck on this boat here.
The Moose boat. It's a catamaran.
Okay.
And they're made for the ocean specifically, but they work great in the river. There's a great turning radius on it. Man, this thing is awesome. I've ridden in it several times. It has a cabin in it where heat, air inside. The most unique thing on it, though, has a water cannon on top of it. So we get a situation where there's a barge, because the river is full of barges. This waterway is very important, vital to the city, just to the country. Everything comes down the river.
It comes down the Mississippi. You're absolutely right.
And we're one of the key points. So if there's an issue with a barge, it says a fire or something, not only do we have the capabilities to address any police situation, we can also address it, put the fire out, take the firemen with us. We have to do a rescue type situation. We have all that equipment on board of that Moose boat.
So on this Moose boat, and I'm assuming you said it's a large catamaran. What is it about? How many feet is that?
It is 38 foot long, 8 foot wide.
That's a pretty good sized boat you got
Big
there.
boat. Yeah.
And it's got a water cannon on it. So, like, for instance, I'm assuming that you would need this, like you said again, if there's something in the channel that's going on with regard to a fire on a barge. But even I would imagine we've got some buildings that or some property that lines our river, so you guys could help. And I'm assuming you got a relationship with the fire department where you guys work hand in hand on this thing?
Yes, actually, we have 2 firemen that are they're trained on the boat as well, and they work hand in hand with us. So it's a joint operation with that. So they come down sometimes during the week, and we do training. Yeah, we do training with the fire department, with our officers. So we may go out and just do a tabletop exercise where they can use their cannon and simulate some type of rescue operation.
The fire. I don't know if anybody can. Man, this is amazing. We got this kind of equipment in the city of Memphis to help us. Really, basically keeping our citizens safe, or either folks who are traveling through the city. Because now we got all of this. I guess these huge. What do you call those?
The riverboats.
Riverboats, yeah. You got all these riverboats out there. You listen to the Best in Blue right here on the KUDZUKIAN network, but you got these huge riverboats, and those are people on them. So you got to have an opportunity to be able to keep them safe as well while they're in our waters, and hopefully as they travel on to the next point of call, right?
Yeah, definitely. We have riverboats docking here, daily almost. I know my mom. I took my mom and my aunt for her birthday. They went down to the riverboat, had dinner. On the boat, and they cruised the river, and then they came back up. So if there's an issue with one of those boats, we're able to, if there's a fire on the boat, because they have kitchens inside, they're cooking food. So if there's an issue, we're able to respond and handle that situation.
Well, let's talk about a little bit about the life-saving piece. folks that may traverse the waters? Let's just say there's some maybe a boating accident, or there's a possibility of a person who's, for whatever reason, they found themselves in the water. How do you guys address that? I mean, there's somebody had to see them hit the water. And I think we talked a little bit a minute ago about the fact that you would probably get the helicopter in the air as soon as you could, right?
Correct. Normally, if, say someone's in the water, normally it is another citizen that calls or sees them in. We've had mental consumers that get into the water. So normally that's how it starts off, or sometimes that's our regular officers on patrol. We get a lot of our calls from them. They get a call, they respond first, they see what's going on, then the harbor is called, and then we respond to it.
So when the weather gets a little warmer, and people tend to want to do a little bit more boating.
Yes.
I need to have a license just to put a boat in the water. Is that right?
Correct.
I just can't go get a boat and say, hey, I feel like going fishing today. I'm going to go fish in the Mississippi River.
Correct. No, you need your boating license to operate that boat on the river.
It's got to have a boating license. And no doubt, alcohol is a no-no on the water, correct?
Well, it's a no-no for the driver, just like it would be in a vehicle.
Sure.
So, you have boating under the influence, and we do enforce that. If you're a passenger, they may enjoy a beverage or two.
Sure.
And, that's fine. But they do need to have their life jackets on anytime they're on that boat and in that water.
So is that I'm assuming state law or either an ordinance, you have to have you have to have a life jacket on. Correct. We want to make sure our listeners know these tips. Got to have a life jacket on.
Correct.
The driver of the boat cannot be consuming any alcohol at all. Period.
That's correct.
I know this is a weird question. People have you all ever ticketed a person for throwing trash into the water or polluting, so to speak?
We ticket as far as boating laws, certain boating laws. The U.S. Coast Guard and TWRA does actual ticketing on that state portion of it. But we enforce the law enforcement side of it, say the DUI, drugs, things of that nature is what we enforce.
So you take care of that part. They do, I guess the rules, so to speak, the rules of safe boating is what they're looking for. But now in terms of, well, it's the same thing with you guys. So
Correct.
If I'm out there I'm zipping up and down the channel, and I got a case of Jack in the boat, you probably gonna pull me over somewhere, right?
Yeah, definitely. And what we do on those violators, the ones that we don't ticket, we may detain them, call over Coast Guard, and then they will handle it from there.
Oh, wow.
But our biggest season or our biggest issues are normally like in May, Memphis in May. When you got that concert going, it's right there on the river.
Sure.
Boaters want to come up to the river, to the bank, get off the boat, swim in the channel, come up, So
well, let me stop you right there now. Hold on. That sounds like an interesting story. I want to hold on to that piece right there. Hold on to that piece right there with Lieutenant Felipe Boyce of the Harbor Patrol. We'll be right back here on the Best in Blue on the KUDZUKIAN Network.
Am I going to sit there and argue with you over we had steak 2 days ago, I want chicken?
B.
I'm going to be spicy all of the time. I don't care if I'm single or not.
C.
I think that the foundation is how you were brought up.
3 Black Chicks on the KUDZUKIAN Network.
KUDZUKIAN. Best in Blue.
We're back with you right here on the Best in Blue on the KUDZUKIAN Network. I am DC, your host, sitting here with the one and only Lieutenant Felipe Boyce, the unit commander of the Harbor Patrol with the Memphis Police Department. And we've just been kind of throwing a lot of helpful tips out there, giving you a little bit of history of the Harbor Patrol and what they do, how his officers are working to keep us safe, not only on the water, but as you traverse those waters. We have people come down on river boats all the time, and they're just as important. Our visitors are just as important as our citizens. We want to make sure that they have a great time and they have a safe time, right, Lieutenant?
That's correct.
So we were talking a little bit about some of the interesting things that occur at our fine city on our water, but we were talking a little bit about Memphis in May particularly, and how some boaters typically will come up to the banks or as close to the banks as they can to enjoy some of the concert. Talk a little bit about that.
That's correct. Yeah, sometimes there's an issue with people trying to get on the cobblestones, and that's a definite no-no, just safety-wise. So we want our boaters to enjoy Memphis in May, but we want them to enjoy it from a safe distance.
Well, so in terms of me being able to, and I can't anchor, right? Because I think you told me that we can't anchor over there. But now you can enjoy the music, but there's no jumping out of the boat, swimming in the channel, right?
No, that's correct.
Wow. That's amazing. Yeah. I wonder how many people actually know you just can't go down and just start swimming in the river.
Well, it's just not safe to do it. That current, we have a current that's normally 7 to 8 mile an hour current. I've seen, just personally being out in the river, I've seen logs come down the river. I've seen refrigerators. I mean, you got eddies, you got undertows. You have all kind of things that's going down that river. So swimming in it, I would not advise that. It's just not safe.
It's just not safe to swim. Well, hopefully, as our listeners of this show, don't swim in the river. Be it the Wolf River, the Lucihatchee River, just stay out of the water right now. Tell us about. Give me an interesting story you've run across your years of being with Harbor Patrol. I'm sure there's got to be something out there that's kind of like, that just stuck in my craw. Did they really do that?
Yeah. I'll say a jumper that we rescued was very interesting. Wow. A guy, I think he thought he wanted to commit suicide till he hit the water.
Whoa!
And he hit it, but he missed a little bit of it, so he kind of got in the sand, kind of on the bank and the water. And man, when we got him out, he was a mess.
So he didn't quite make the full jump.
He didn't quite make the full jump.
Wow, that is pretty
lucky
bad.
To be alive.
Yeah, that's definitely lucky and blessed to be alive.
Yeah,
and that's one of those things. Somebody was asking me. Typically, you have a person. Let's just say he was successful in his suicide attempt, and he made the water. Why is it typically so hard or takes so long to recover the body? The water.
Well, temperature plays a lot of it. Normally, if a body goes on the water, it takes about 3 days for that gas to build up in his body and then for him to float to the top. So once he becomes waterlogged and he's underneath, there's no way we can find him. Now, sometimes we do have GPS and sonar inside the boats, and we can see something floating. But with that current constantly moving, it's hard to detect because you may go in at one point and say, hey, he went in near Tom Lee. Well, we may not find that body till he's down by the old 55 bridge just because of the current.
You really?
Yeah, we have had some people that jump that they've been found in Tunica. So,
we've been fortunate in our city, I think, and you can call me on this one. I don't recall any jumpers off of our bridges.
Oh, we have a lot.
Oh, what?
We normally have. I think this year I pulled some stats up, but this year
off our bridges, off the Memphis and Tennessee Arkansas bridge.
Correct.
Get out of here, man.
Yeah, we had this year. We responded to 6 jumpers. Some we've located. I think 2. One was deceased, and one I told you about the one we rescued.
Yeah,
and the other ones we didn't even find.
So there's 4 persons out there still that have not been found.
Yeah, correct.
Amazing. You're hearing it first here on the Best in Blue on the KUDZUKIAN Network. And so, what goes through your mind as a dad, as a human being, that somebody had the, I don't want you don't have to make a mental health call on this thing, but I mean, this thing has got to kind of get to you guys out on that water a little bit, because you're really telling me that you want to do this. If you go up on a bridge that high and you hit that water, you're serious about this.
Well, I would say just 25 years of police service, you're going to say that about any situation where somebody loses a life. But the water in particular, it's just, if you ever been on that bridge, and we've had to go up there to check.
I've driven the bridge. I've never walked.
If you get out and walk it versus driving it, which is illegal too. But if you get out there, and sometimes we have to get on it, man, it's a scary sight just being up there. So the jump, mentally there has to be some issues that are going on.
That thing looks just really. I was recently in the Bay Area, and I went across the Bay Bridge, and of course I went across the Golden Gate, which the Golden Gate is not golden, by the way. But these things are so high, and you look down, you're like,
yeah. But
now, of course, we have people who are going through things, whether it's holidays or just family issues themselves, and they find themselves at a position where they do that. But we're hoping that they get some help before they make that ultimate decision to take their lives. The Harbor Patrol has been around nearly 40 years.
Correct.
And you got new equipment. We talked about that. We talked about your service. You got a happy story. We don't want to go on this thing.
It's not all doom and gloom.
I don't want to preach doom and gloom on this show. Man. Do you got a thing that where we were able to do something and it looked that the person was great, nothing happened, and all of this?
Yeah, we definitely want people to enjoy the river. You just want to enjoy it safely. I mean, we have the Memphis in May concerts that people boat up to, and they get safely where they can see it and enjoy it. We had a firework festival every year that boaters take opportunity to enjoy. We had a regalia every year where all the boats in the harbor, they dress the boats up.
Oh, wow.
And they call it the harbor, and they make a big line. It's really nice.
What about the St. Jude? Wasn't it the St. Jude deal where they get out there on almost a kayak or something?
Yeah, they do a kayak deal as well.
And you guys are on patrol on that particular time, because I'm assuming that they need all hands on deck when it comes to something. Whenever there's a scheduled event on the water, they've got a lot of boaters out there. They make sure that you guys are there.
Yeah, that's correct. Anything boating exercises, we always are available. Also, when they do the air show, we're always on the boats.
Wow. That's right.
Yeah, that's correct. So
that's right.
We're pretty much in the water. We try to patrol that river as much as we can daily. We watch the bridges,
sure.
The harbor, anything that we would see that could jeopardize the safety of any of our citizens. We try to stay on top of it.
Leave us with your key tip. Give us something that you want our citizens to know about what you all do about that water that will help us, I guess, be a better city in terms of helping us stay safe.
I would say anytime anyone's going to get on the water, enjoy it. Make sure you have your life jackets. Make sure you have a cell phone that's fully charged. We would like for you to have fire extinguishers on board and extra fuel. We have had situations where boaters get out, they weren't prepared, say they want to drive to Tunica and come back. A lot of times they won't have enough fuel to get back. Sometimes cell phones don't work.
Oh, wow.
So we just want to make sure that everybody gets out, enjoy the water, great view. I mean, I like going to the park myself, Tom Lee, get a great look. Love watching the boats.
Sure.
Anything they do, we just want to do it, have fun, but just always keep safety in mind first.
Well, we're going to leave it on that note. Keeping safety in mind first. You heard it here first from Lieutenant Felipe Boyce of the Harbor Patrol with the Memphis Police Department. Look, come back and see us again, Lieutenant.
Definitely.
We appreciate you coming in. We appreciate your service to our city and our citizens. You heard it first right here on the Best in Blue on the KUDZUKIAN Network.
This is Lee Recruiter with the Memphis Police Department, Officer Kevin Moore. Join the Best in Blue. Our requirements are achievable. Our standards are the highest. Our officers are the finest. We are the Best in Blue. Join MPD.com.
As promised, I said Lieutenant Felipe Boyce was going to bring it. Did he not bring it? Let me tell you something. This young man, who is the unit commander for the Harbor Patrol with the Memphis Police Department, he and his staff, they work every day to make sure that our boaters, our visitors that are coming in and out of our city via the water, they're safe, and that we have equipment that is managed and that is maintained, that's ready to be put in use in case we have issues on the water, whether someone who gets in the water either intentionally or unintentionally, or if there's a tragedy on the water. They're able to react. And that's the one thing I took away from our conversation today with Lieutenant Boyce, is that they want you to enjoy the water. They want you to enjoy these rivers that we have running through our beautiful city, but they also want you to be safe. Let's make sure we remember that. So if you've missed any of our previous shows, make sure to check us out on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, TuneIn, or your favorite podcast provider. Plus, you can always text BNB to 72,000. That's right, BNB to 72000. We'd love to have you in the Best in Blue family right here on the KUDZUKIAN Network.
KUDZUKIAN Network.